The team was ahead of schedule. Costs were under control. Then, a critical vendor shut down overnight. Boom, $3.2 million in unplanned costs. The project wasn't mismanaged. It was simply unprepared. You see, risks aren't a question of if, they're a matter of when. And that's where reserve analysis comes in. In this video, we'll break down what reserve analysis actually is, how to build financial cushions for uncertainty, step-by-step examples from tech, construction, healthcare, and more. Stick around, because mastering this one technique could be the difference between project success and budget disaster. And if you want to master it in detail, I've built a complete online course that walks you through real-life implementation, templates, and case studies. Let's get into it. 2 years ago, a mid-size SaaS company launched a platform migration. They had contingency, or so they thought. But they'd underestimated integration risks. 14 weeks in, unforeseen code conflicts with legacy systems caused massive rework. Their budget? Overrun by 27%. Their mistake? No reserve analysis. No structured approach to quantify unknown risks. And no financial buffer to absorb the shock. Had they done reserve analysis, they would have baked in the cost of uncertainty. And their project? It would have survived. So, let's unpack what reserve analysis actually is. Reserve analysis is a project cost management technique that helps you identify potential risk exposure, quantify uncertainty in financial terms, add structured reserves to your project budget. It includes 2 key types of reserves. Contingency reserve, for known unknowns like scope creep, rework, or design clarifications. Management reserve, for unknown unknowns, black swan events, regulatory changes, etc. These reserves aren't optional extras, they're strategic safeguards. Step 1. Identify risk. Start by listing all potential risks, from scope gaps to third-party failures. Use tools like expert judgment, SWOT or PESTLE. Lessons learned from past projects. Step 2. Evaluate risk probability and impact. Next, assign numbers. Risk equals probability times impact. Example, a supplier failure with 20% probability and $300,000 impact $60,000 reserve. This gives you a tangible amount to budget for each risk. Step 3. Determine contingency reserve for known risks. Add up all quantified risks for your contingency reserve. This is the financial buffer for risks you can anticipate. You may apply this at work package level, project level, or by risk category. Step 4. Establish management reserve for unknown risk. Then allocate a management reserve, typically 5 to 10% of total budget. This covers the curveballs no one sees coming. Pro tip. Management reserve is controlled at the executive or sponsor level, not by the project team. Step 5. Integrate findings and reach conclusions. Don't just estimate your reserves, embed them in your cost baseline. Track them separately so you don't spend them like regular funds. Communicate clearly to stakeholders that reserves are for risk mitigation, not budget padding. Real examples across sectors. Construction equals a high-rise project added a 7% contingency for supply chain delays. When port strikes hit, they stayed on budget. Software - an agile team allocated 15% for integration testing. They used only 9% and rolled the rest into a mobile rollout. Healthcare - a hospital upgrade budgeted 10% for regulatory delays. When new policies came mid-project, they didn't need change orders. Mistakes to avoid. Skipping reserve analysis altogether. Guessing reserve values without risk logic. Treating reserves as free cash. Failing to communicate reserve policy to stakeholders. Remember, reserves are tools, not loopholes. Reserve analysis is most powerful when combined with expert judgment to identify hidden risks, Monte Carlo simulation to validate range estimates, 3-point estimating for granular buffers. It's not about being cautious, it's about being strategic. Want to become a pro at reserve analysis? My online course teaches you Reserve Analysis Essentials, budget buffers that work. Reserve Analysis Essentials, budgeting for the unpredictable. Reserve Analysis Essentials, smart buffers for smarter projects. Reserve Analysis in Action, real-world lessons. Reserve Analysis Basics, smarter risk planning. Essentials of Reserve Analysis in Project Cost Control. Reserve Analysis Professional Application. Strategic reserve planning for high-stakes roles. This technique alone can save your company thousands, even millions. So don't guess. Don't delay. Click the link in the description and start building smarter project budgets today.